Let me change to speaker view so you can actually see. Just make sure that you guys are muted if you're not already. Sorry, guys. Let me mute everyone. All right. You should be good now. Okay, so I am super excited for tonight's call. Tonight we have Mandie Kaii joining us. If you guys do not know who she is, you need to go find her on Instagram right now. She was a 2018 Premier Coach last year. She is an elite coach already this year. This year, her business has exploded. So she was previously working a corporate marketing job, now full-time coach. She's an 8-star diamond coach, but 11-star qualifying and organizational leader on the leadership ladder as well. So she is just not only rocking like her own personal, she is hitting Success Club 100 plus every single month. So not only rocking her own business, but helping her coaches grow into incredible leaders as well. Hold on, guys. Let me make sure everyone's muted. So tonight, she is going to be talking to us about excelling your business and some of the things that she has done to excel her business and tips that she is giving her coaches to help them excel their businesses. So Mandie, I will turn this over to you, and I'm going to try to make sure I mute them as they hop on. But the floor is yours, Mandie. We are super excited.
Hello, everybody. First and foremost, if my cat, there's like a kitten back there, if he goes crazy, let's just ignore him. And then I have another cat somewhere. I feel like a crazy cat lady, but let's just ignore him. He's like 3 months old, so he might just like lose his like rockers, but he's fine. Anyways, I'm so excited to speak with you guys, for you guys, and just honestly honored to speak for Holly. If I didn't love my upline, I'd probably quit and sign up with Holly in 6 months. Like, that's how I feel about Holly. And I'm really excited because this is something that has actually changed my life, like in the least, and so I never thought that I was going to be this version of Mandie, and I didn't think I was actually able to become this version of Mandie. But what I've really found is that this business gives us a platform to be whoever we want to be in the type of like business structure we want to be, and like literally taking our Pinterest boards and turning them into our reality. And I think it's such a gift. And so before I dive into everything that I've done and learned in the last 2 years, I just want you guys to understand that I'm such a normal gal. Like, even though that I have this pretty Instagram feed, I started this business with 0 followers. I started a brand new Instagram. I've learned a lot through working this business. I was just not out of college, I want to say. 2 years out of college, I landed my first corporate marketing job. The same time that I started a new corporate marketing job, I started Beach.
You're good.
So many times I was like, no, I'm doing it. I'm living the life. I'm working corporately. I had a senior marketing position when I was 23, and I was like, I'm doing better than so many of my friends right now. And I was excited for myself. And then I got into this, and I was wearing my pencil skirts, and I was like wearing my heels every day, and I looked really good. I even lived in New York City. And so on Instagram, I looked like I was living the fab life. But on the inside, I was like, what is this? If this is the hashtag goals, I don't want to be any part of the hashtag goal life. Like, I don't like this. I don't feel good. And I just got to a point where I was like, if this thing that I'm doing is my reality until I'm 65, I don't want to do this thing. I don't want to be successful if this is what success looks like. Like, anything that I can do to get out of this, I will do. And so I was actually up at 2 o'clock in the morning, scrolling on Instagram, looking at everyone's beautiful bodies, everyone's beautiful lives, comparing myself to a point where it made me sick. And I had to get up at 5 o'clock. I would do this to myself day after day, day after day. And on the weekends, I would sit there comparing myself. I would sleep in till like noon. It was just terrible. And I got into this place where I never thought Mandie could be as good as everybody else on Instagram. And so I was up and I saw this Instagram post, and it said like help wanted. Yeah, it was like a help wanted 2 years ago. And I ended up signing up with my coach. I signed up before she even told me the price, because I was like, I don't know what you're doing or how you're making this happen, but literally here's my credit card, please help me. I would have done anything to get out of my like present, because I was so miserable, and I hated the fact that I was so miserable because I was 23 and people are like, I'm living the life. I'm like, no, I'm not living the life. I'm making great money, but this money I can't do anything with because I'm confined to working 80 hours a week. It was awful. And so when I found Beachbody, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this coaching thing. And for a year in my business, I were kind of did it like really mediocrely. And even though I looked up at my upline, and my upline is Mandie, and she was one of my best friends throughout the whole entire process. She supported me, was super awesome. And I just kept looking at her like, oh, that life is not for me. And I kept saying, no, I'm never going to be able to speak on social media. I'm never going to speak to a camera. Fun fact about me, I was terrified of public speaking. I would not even like video chat my family because I didn't like public speaking that much. Like I was terrified. And when which is funny because I have a communications degree and we had public speaking classes, and I would, before the things, I would have anxiety attacks and have to go to the hospital, like bad, like really bad. And so it's weird seeing this version of me, but that's because we're surrounded by people that literally lift us up. And so if you really lean into this opportunity, you become the best version of yourself, because people beside you are not, they're not going so fast beyond what is comprehensible to your own life. They're going at a pace where like if you just grab on, you can pace with them, you could sprint with them, and it's not unachievable if you believe, and so I kept watching Angie just do all these wonderful things, go to Disney, go to all these trips, build a beautiful home, do this, do that, and I was like, Angie Belmar, I don't like you, but I love you at the same time. And I kept just watching this. And so it finally got to a point where I'm like, you know what? Either I'm going to do this or I'm not going to. I've gotten to a point where I'm going to stop tiptoeing, or I'm going to just like shut this down, because I can't keep embarrassing myself. And that's how I felt. I was an athlete in college, and for so long, I was just like, what are you doing? Like, you keep saying you have these huge goals and you keep like not even coming close to them. I'd be like, I'm going to be diamond in this month. And I would hit Success Club like 5. And I was just like, yeah, cool. I hit Success Club, but there was no like parallel of what I was saying with what I was doing. And so that's when I really turned it on. And it was July of 2017. So a little over a year ago, I went from Emerald to Diamond, and then I ended the year at the Premier. And so these are the 10 top things that I've learned through this process. And I wish that I learned in my first like month, or I knew about my first month. So I'm just going to give you like my 10 top tips, and then you guys are welcome to ask me any questions and I can go in from there. So my biggest thing from the start was my why. My why. If I didn't understand, couldn't comprehend why I was doing this, nothing had enough leverage to make me push harder through the hard days. And so at first, I was like, I have a decent amount of money coming in from my job. I didn't really need this. I was doing the societal expectation of what a successful young not entrepreneur, but corporate gal looked like. And I was doing all those things. So I'm like, why is this even important? But then I remembered I felt awful. I was 25 pounds heavier. I literally compared my life to everyone else. And so I was so sick of feeling like that. My why was rooted by my self-esteem. My why was rooted by the way I valued who I was becoming, the people I was surrounding myself with. I wanted more than 2 weeks of vacation so bad it hurt. Like, I would literally go to work crying in the bathroom because I was like, I'm inside. There's no windows in my office. I'm inside and it's 75 degrees out and beautiful. Like, this is my life. I'm going to be in this cubicle for the rest of my life. And so many days that were hard in the business, I had to think about those days in my cubicle walls. I had to think about not seeing the sun like throughout the workday. And I know that sounds so traumatic, but it really was for me. And so I really had to revisit that. And then I have wanted babies since I was like 2 years old. Like, I always wanted to be a mom. And so when I got to see like moms walking their kids to like school and stuff, I want that in my life so bad. I want to be able to like walk my kids to school and support my kids and go to all their soccer things or whatever it may be. I want to be that mom. I want to be the cool mom that's always there, like volunteering, doing whatever. And so that was another why. I don't even have kids. I'm probably not going to have kids for another 5 years, but it's still a part of my why. And so I had to revisit that because either I'm going to give up on my why or am I going to work hard for my why? So that was one of my biggest focuses, is that I can do this if I'm willing and able to make those things happen. So that was my first and foremost, like, I have to mark this down. And then number 2 was focusing on the things that I did like about the business, because I was a coach for a reason. I started coaching for a reason. I saw value in coaching for a reason. So I had to write those things down. There's things in the business that I hated, absolutely hated. I hate inviting. Oh my goodness, I don't like inviting. It's not fun for me. I don't really like sending a bunch of emails at one time. I hate being on the computer that much. I do like having conversations. I do like talking to people. I do like helping people build their business. And so I had to focus on those things. And I had to focus my energy on those, because it's so easy to focus on the things that you don't love about the business and say, this business is not really for me, nor is this business working because of the X, Y, and Z, when you're missing all of these golden little perfect pieces to the big puzzle, you know? And so I really had to focus on the things that I loved. And that was being able to pay it forward. That was my 25-pound transformation. That was being able to be a part of something that's bigger than myself. It was being a part of a team that empowered women and men and just people to build their life by design. And so I had to focus my energy there instead of focusing my energy where I really didn't like, or I really had a distaste for, really the things that drug me down in the business. So with the starting of my why and then really focusing on the good stuff, then number 3 is me actually making the decision to go all in. And what that meant was, Mandie, I'm going to stop messing around. I'm going to stop talking about my goals like they're a pipe dream, but I'm going to make these things happen. And the biggest thing that I learned is I didn't have to make that decision once. I had to make it every single day. Every single day that I woke up, I had to remake that decision that I'm going to go all in. Because every single day in this business, when you're first starting or first really diving into it and really going ham, it's not easy. It's not going to ever be easy to just turn from 0 to 100, you know, but you have to make a decision and repetitively make that decision every single morning, every single day, maybe sometimes twice a day. Sometimes I have to talk myself into something. And it's not because it's just that I hate this, but it's because it's hard working hard sometimes, you know, and it's not the most like pleasable thing to sacrifice. And so I had to really, really be able to kind of turn it on, but knowing in my head that it's not going to be one line in the sand and all of a sudden I'm going to hop over and everything's going to be magical and I'll just be this really empowered, really motivated human being. But what I really realized is that we have to create that momentum and we have to create those decisions every single day. And that's how our coaches that we sign up, our people in our audience, our people around us, the people that love us, that watch us working so hard, will see how passionate we are about this by recreating that decision every single day. And then that leads me to my 4th point, is to outdo your expectations for others. So one of the biggest things that I learned, and I hated this learning curve so much, is that people aren't going to do more than what I do. And I wanted people to work harder than me, underneath me. And I wanted them to go faster. I wanted them to hit diamond faster than I did. I wanted them to do things that I don't like. I wanted them to do so much more than I was comfortable with doing myself. But it really came down to, they're not going to outdo my expectations if I am the influencer of their potential business, potential fitness journey, potential, opportunity, whatever it may be. They're not going to outdo me. So what I have to do is outdo my expectations for them. And so every single day I'm recreating that decision, recreating that expectation, and recreating my ability to outdo that expectation. And so what that even kind of looks like, and I know that's kind of like a really vague statement, because you can say, oh, well, I worked out 45 minutes instead of 40 today and I outdid my expectation. But what I mean is, that means you're going to be sacrificing more time. You're going to be more uncomfortable than you ever thought you were going to be. You're going to be at every single Zoom call, every single meeting. You're going to be the best learner that you've ever been before. You're going to be the most humble you've ever been before. And this is one of the most humbling experiences, because we get into it like a newborn baby. We're like, okay, I am now a multi-level marketer. I'm an influencer. I am now a coach. What the heck do I do? So you get into this opportunity like a brand new baby, learning from the steps of just like the basics, you know, like how do I talk to somebody? How do I invite somebody? How do I run something to hold people accountable? And so really understanding all of these things and crafting, creating, and just being able to learn fluidly every single time that you are showing up to your business. So really, really outdoing those. And then, so if you have these expectations for people and you have these expectations of what your team culture is going to look like or your business is going to look like, so what kind of people do you want to sign up? What kind of people are you looking for? What kind of people are you talking to on social media? For me, I talk to the go-getters. I talk to the runners, sprinters, people that want to run a marathon, not just a 3 or 5K. I talk to the people that want to work really hard and know that this lifestyle isn't easy. So I talk to those people. And then so that kind of leads me into my 5th point, and that says don't listen to what people say, watch where their feet go. That is one of the biggest learning things I've ever seen in this business, because I actually did a poll today and somebody told me that they wanted to be 5-star elite and they haven't recruited a coach in 4 months. And so I'm like, wait, what? I understand that that's a goal, and I'm not saying that it's unrealistic, but you haven't done anything in your business to show and prove that that's actually something that you're passionately going to sacrifice to get to you. And the reason I say that is not because I never doubt anybody. I think people surprise us all the time, and I think that people are capable of way more than they ever show themselves. But what I'm going to do, because I take my business so seriously, is I'm going to only watch their feet and not listen to what they say. People tell me all the time that I want to be diamond, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. Well, what are you going to do? I don't really care about what you want to do, but what are you going to? What are the absolute must in your business? What are the absolute must in your life? What do you take seriously enough for you to sacrifice everything that is not as life or death important to you right now to make that happen? And so you really have to understand that no matter what in this business, you have to watch those feet and not the mouth. Watching those feet is going to bring so much clarity to your business, because so many times we want to believe in people. We want to trust people. We want to be like, oh, you told me you were going to be diamond this day, and you're still not diamond for 17 more months after. And it's frustrating because we are like, oh, girl, you can do it. And it's frustrating, but what you really have to do is think in a business mind. If they don't meet your expectations, that doesn't mean you're a bad leader. That doesn't mean that you are not good at this. That doesn't mean that you said the wrong thing. That also doesn't mean that you're going in the wrong direction. That just means the people necessarily that you thought were in your corner are not quite there yet. So you have to keep moving towards your expectation, your goals, and just keep running as fast as you can, and people will catch up, or they'll fall out. And that's also okay. And I'm not saying that you leave all the people behind and they're just going to wash to the sides, but I am going to say don't slow down for the people that are going to drag you down, because this business is yours. This business is important. This business is your livelihood, and this business is your dreams, not theirs. And so you have to really be kind of selfish in that. And that leads me to number 6 is don't assume anything. I sign up girls with the most beautiful Instagrams. I'm like, oh, yes. She's going to be the next Sarah's Day, Nikki Blackletter. I think she's going to be all these new influencers. She has got it going on. She's going to hit Success Club 15 her first month. And I get so excited, and then all of a sudden she does nothing. And I'm like, wait, time out. Wait, let's retry this, and you get so excited about these people. And you've already put these preset notions of what they're going to do, your expectations for them, their goals, how fast they're going to run. But if you don't assume anything and you just run with where their feet are going, your emotions are going to be so much more taken care of. And what I've really learned is that if I don't assume that everybody's going to be good at this, or everyone's going to be bad at this, or this person doesn't have that certain look, or this person doesn't have the same edit, or this person doesn't really speak this way, it's okay. It is really okay, because everybody in this business runs this business differently. If they don't do things like I do, or if they don't have the same tactical strategies, or if they don't have the same things that they're good at that I am, it's going to be okay. Because I can't assume that what they're doing is not going to work 6 months from now. I also can't assume that what they're doing isn't going to work. I just don't know. And so you have to run with the willing and continue to do that. And don't hurt yourself and hurt your ego and hurt your business by assuming that things are going to happen by people's actions or people's not actions, but people's words or people's like certain look. And I do this to myself all the time. And I have to like talk myself out of it every single time because I get so excited about a new coach that has, oh my goodness, all of the potential in the world. And all of a sudden she like breaks my heart. I'm like, I feel like I just went through an emotional breakup and it feels really bad. And this business does that to you, you know, but learning how to really excel in your business, you have to learn how to deal with that before it even happens. So really, really understanding that that's okay. It's not on you. And I'm going to say that over and over again, that you guys are not bad leaders. You guys are not bad people. You guys are not bad at your job. You're not bad at doing anything. Just some people don't meet up to your standards. And it's okay. It is okay. But what you have to do is hold that standards with your freaking feet in the ground and be like, I'm not moving from these standards. The only thing I'm going to do is going to go up. And no matter where these other people below me are going, I'm not going to stop. And I'm not going to ever like put myself down or think that I'm not good enough because people are not acting towards their goals. Like that's not on me, you know? And so really thinking about that. Number 7, their goals need to be determined by them, not by us. So we cannot say, hey, Holly, you got to be a 5-star diamond by the end of this month and you need to go get it. Like, or think that, hey, if you want to go do this, you need to do this. You know, like if you keep telling people their goals, they lose like the ability to have the freedom of crafting and creating something that they're proud of. And so if somebody tells me, Mandie, I want to go full time, I want to do this, I want to do that, I'm like, okay, what does that mean to you? What does it mean financially? What does that look like? And I try to really pull apart and dissect how we can do that. And the reason I'm even kind of talking about this is because to excel in your business, you have to really understand what other people want. It's not just about you. If you keep telling people, hey, we're going to be a 15-star diamond team and that's all we're going to do, that's all we're going to do, and everyone else is like, dude, I don't even want to do this really. I just wanted to like be a part of like a sorority. I thought they were just like hanging out, you know, like, so the way you're talking is not going to match their goals. And the reason I also say this is because if they determine what their goals are, it's going to be a lot easier to hold themselves accountable to them. And if they are the ones saying, Mandie, I want to be diamond by this date, then I'm like, I'm going to hold you to that. And now I get the free range of saying, I'm going to hold you to that because you've already verbalized that that is what you want to make happen. I didn't put in your head. And then you can't get that weird, like, well, Holly told me to go diamond, you know, like that weird, just, I don't even know what to call it. But that, and so really understanding that their goals need to be their goals. And then you're like their accountability partner, you know, like the program that they're getting set up as a coach is set in stone. And so now you just hold them accountable and you cheer them on, but you also do it in a way where it's business focused and not emotions. And that leads me to my 8th point is treating your business like a business. You'll sacrifice your time, giving yourself strict deadlines, both weekly, monthly, and yearly. That is so important for this business. And if you think that things will just happen when they happen and it's just going to be the good time and things are just going to fall in place one day, I'm sorry, but you're going to be really, really heartbroken because this business takes so much effort to craft and create your own momentum. And the reason I've thought that so much, I mean, like, I don't even know how to say this, but when I heard Holly talk about how she went elite the first time, I was like, oh my goodness, that is exactly what I mean. Like, that's exactly what I mean. She wanted something so bad. And even if she didn't have it in her pipeline, even if it wasn't like the cards weren't in her favor by any means, she wasn't all of a sudden just going to pop a bunch of random go-getters, but she was like, no, this is going to happen not only for me, but for my team. And I'm going to just create it. It's going to happen. And that's just it. And so like being able to sacrifice your time, your effort, you're kind of like, you know, like swallowing your pride sometimes and thinking just because I don't have all these fancy people, I could still create really awesome goals and loving that idea. And so having those deadlines and doing that no matter what. Do you know how many favors I called in? My grandmother is set up on yoga 2 different times because of certain deadlines. My grandfather that doesn't even know how to turn on the television definitely has Beachbody on demand. And so all of these things are just a part of those sacrifices, and doing the little things like that of just, if it's Success Club, if it's Emerald, if it's Diamond, if it's I just wanted to get 10 people by the 15th, and really, really just sticking to that. That's what's going to accelerate your business. Those little things are what's going to make your business explode one day. And so many times I've been like, people have asked me, Mandie, what was it? What did you do? What like certain like little thing was it? How did you make it explode so fast? And I'm like, I honestly worked my tail off every single day, harder than most. And then all of a sudden, you guys are seeing now the result of that. Not because I just did something special, but all of a sudden it's the result of that because I've been working behind the scenes for 8 months, and now you guys are seeing me pop 8-star, and I'm not saying that I'm special by any means, but I am saying that the little things like deadlines and just taking your business seriously and taking your business like it is your little baby and that you have so much pride and joy of it, that is what's going to make and break it. I love this. Number 9, think business strategy, not emotional strategy. So many of my coaches are like, Mandie, I don't want to hurt feelings. I don't know if this is right for me. It kind of hurt my feelings when I got to know. Or Mandie, I want good intentions, or I want to help people. I want to do this, I want to do that, blah, 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 blah. And it's all emotional based. And we get so caught up in this, especially females. We're like, I just want good and power and life and all these things. I promise you, and I'm a straight shooter. So I'm just going to shoot you straight for a second. Say your dreams are not going to come true if you're focused with your emotions. 100%. That's why so many of the larger corporations are run by men, because they're fighters. They don't care about emotions. They don't care about hurting people's feelings. And I'm not saying go out there and hurt everyone's feelings, but I am saying your business should be so focused on your goals that you don't think about, hey, maybe we can have a tea party after this, or maybe we could really be good friends after this, or maybe we need to just small talk before we actually make our dreams happen, And so my team has been solely based on this. How are we going to get crap done? Like, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? And that culture is created from the top, And I've heard Holly speak, and I know you guys are like, I know Mandie. Holly shoots it straight. Holly knows what she's talking about. But I want you guys to know that it's not just Holly doing that, but anybody that is successful in the business is because they treat the business so much like a business, and all the strategic things behind the scenes are so important to be rooted by business strategy or goals and all the greater good and the greater goal of what we do, rather than things that just make us feel good, because things that make me feel good is not when I have to go call somebody out on social media or call somebody out on my team page because they didn't, I don't know, they like dropped or something. Or like when I have to message them like, hey girl, that you're like one person away. That doesn't feel good for me. But it is something that is really strategic in holding our whole entire business structure together, and really being that accountability partner to all of these people, and really being that leader, and really being that mentor, and really being that voice of saying, this is exactly how we can get this done. Let's do it. Not, hey, does this feel okay? Or hey, does this go okay? Like, are we going to do this? It really comes down to what can we do to get our goals done, period. And then number 10 is to fall in love with building a business before you love the idea of what the business can create for you. I hate this, again, but I love it at the same time, because for so long, I on social media, I was like, oh, hashtag dream life, hashtag all these things, but I wasn't sacrificing any of my time. I wasn't working very hard, but I was telling people that I was doing all these grand things, and my actions were adding up to kind of my verbiage. And a lot of times on social media, as newer coaches, you talk about this dream life that you're building, and then you won't even watch a team call. And so really coming down to, you have to fall in love with grinding and working hard and sacrificing. And this is, Elizabeth, I'll repeat it. It's number 10 is fall in love with building a business before you love the idea of what this business can create for you. So just falling in love with grind, falling in love with the fact that being an entrepreneur is a lifestyle in itself. It is an absolute lifestyle, and being able to fall in love with that grind and working hard for something, working hard for a bigger dream, working hard for those bigger goals, that's where you become a successful coach, because you love the grind so much, then you create the result. But if you love the result and you just want to travel, you just want to have fun, you just want to have relationships, and you just want to hit these fancy ranks, but you don't want to work hard for it, you'll fall short every single time. But loving the grind, loving staying up late, loving staying like behind on cocktail parties or whatever it may be, and love sacrificing your time to make your dreams come true is where this business goes from 0 to 100. Like, and that's why you see some of the top coaches saying that they work 16-hour days. It's not because they're literally like crazy. I mean, some of them are, but it's not because like we're crazy, you know, but it's because it's just so like, I don't know what the word is. I mean, I feel so prideful about something that I've created from scratch rather than saying, oh, well, I kind of just jumped in this thing and it just kind of happened, you know, because that's never going to be our reality. That's never going to be how this business is going to work. But what it comes down to is falling in love with being an entrepreneur instead of falling in love with what an entrepreneur looks like, you know. And so many times you'll get into this business being like, I'm going to make this much money, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But what it really comes down to is how hard are you going to work for it? How hard are you going to work for it day after day? How hard are you going to work for it on the days that you don't feel like it? How hard are you going to work for it on the days that really just you want to shut the world off? There's days where I wake up and like, never mind, you know, like I just don't want to do it. But those are the days that matter the most. And that's kind of like my top 10 tips of how I've been able to build and accelerate this business and turn it from like an emerald business structure to now an elite coach, is just because I've treated the business like Steve Jobs treated Apple. And that's what it comes down to, is I sacrifice so much of my time. I work day after day, and I'm not gloating. I'm not saying that I'm just special, but I will outwork my opponents every single day because 1, I'm competitive as heck. 2, I love my dreams that much. 3, I'm not going to ever get in a cubicle wall without windows again. And 4, because there's so much possibility with this. If we've seen people in the Million Club, if we've seen people making millions of dollars a year or building their dream life or being stay-at-home moms or traveling whenever they please, then why not you? Why not you? And so for me, it was always the why not me. And so that's why I decided to turn it on every single second, every single day. And I've really just stuck to it, just like that.
I love it. Thank you so much. Yeah, we definitely like speak the same language. This business, I mean, guys, it's not hard. It's about that grind and falling in love with it, right? And even like the first point of your second point, like, what do you love about this business? Because you're not going to love the grind every single day. You've got to do it, but then you've got to dive into maybe those pieces of the business that you love a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, if you've got to show up every single day. So yeah, I'll open up the chat. So you guys feel free to type some questions in there. Mandie, can you see the questions?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So the first one, it says, can you share the things you did when you decided to turn it up last year? Obviously not everything. So yeah, of course. So one thing I did is I started inviting to the actual coaching opportunity. For a long time, I was terrified because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how it worked. I didn't think I was going to be a good mentor / leader. I did not think I was going to be good at this forever. You guys, when I played college softball, and people used to tell me that I was a terrible leader, that I was a terrible teammate, that I was just not good enough. And I was told literally day after day that, Mandie, you can't do something like this. And I was like, and I allowed myself to believe that. And so what it really came down to is I started inviting to the coaching opportunity. That was one of the biggest things that turned it around for me. And also, it was my belief. And people can read right through it. I got excited. I got excited about my new path. I got excited about sharing the opportunity. I got excited to pay it forward. And that was like a big mind shift, is the pay it forward mentality. A big thing when I first started, I was like, how many people can I sign up? What success level point can I get? You know, I was really focused on like my goals and like the little things and like the incremental things that were happening in the business. But it really came down to is how many lives can I change with this? Like how many people? And I wanted to feel good about helping others. And it was a lot of that came with just actions later. I feel like that doesn't even make sense. But it really came down to inviting to the coaching opportunity more, talking about the coaching opportunity more on social media, That is so funny because I remember the day that Angie was going, she was doing social media critiques and she was going through social media and she goes, yeah, like Mandie Kaii, you're such a challenger coach. And I was like, what? What does that even mean? She goes, yeah, you're only targeting challengers on your social media. And I had no idea. And so once I really shifted the way I talked about the coaching opportunity on social media was a huge part of why my business started to accelerate, why people started trusting me. And I became so much more vulnerable and open. And I just 10x'd the crap out of my life. And just, I gave everything I could from when I woke up to when I went to sleep. Amanda asked, she said, how did you make inviting easier for yourself? I definitely struggle with that. It honestly, it never got easy, nor was it never felt like there was a right time where it got easier. And the only thing that helped me was really just getting uncomfortable and being like, okay, I'm just going to do 20 today and I'm just going to go for it. And so it never was a point where I was like, you know, this is easier because I believe more in it, or this is easier because I know more about it. I could know everything about the business and still not like inviting. And even to this day, there's sometimes where I'm looking at a page where I'm like, oh, she'd be really good as a coach, and I still don't invite her. And then I kick myself, and then in the evening, I go invite her because I'm like, Mandie, come on. Like, stop. And when you switch that mentality to what if they need me, that's where inviting becomes so special. Because if somebody's sitting on the other side of a screen or on the other side of their account, and they felt like Mandie did before Beachbody, my heart hurts for them. And so I always think about that. I'm like, what if they're struggling? What if they feel as bad as I did? What if they're dealing with depression? Or what if they're financially not stable? And this could fix that. And so that pay it forward mentality, when it really comes to inviting somebody to this opportunity, is where it became like magical to me. And I know it sounds so like euphoric, but like that's how it shifted, is that I knew that I had an opportunity where it can change somebody's life like it did mine. Hustle is a love language. I love that.
I love that. I love the what if they need me question. It just shifts your whole perspective. It's amazing. Do you guys have any more questions for Mandie before we let her hop off? I know there was a lot in here and a lot to think about.
Melissa said, so when you say that you go back and invite them as a cold invite, it depends. And it's all about how I'm not too much of a small talker type of person. So I don't know, like building the relationship to me comes with like supporting them on social media, like the comments, the likes and stuff. I don't need to say, oh my gosh, I like your shoes, or oh my gosh, like where'd you get that? You know, like I'm not that type of person. But when I invite them, I literally, if I see a social media page where I'm like, oh, please be my coach, I literally will reach out to them like, hey girl, you slay at social media. Have you ever thought about coaching? Like, and I know that's so basic, but that's what I do. Or if I have like an information session / sneak peek going on, I reach out to them and said, hey girl, you're absolutely killing social media. You should probably get paid for what you do. So would you love to get in my information session? And people are like, wait, what? I know it's kind of awkward, but that's just what I do. And that's what works for me the most. Especially early on, there was a lot more, I think there's a lot more building relationship stuff, but I built relationships because I love social media so much. And I know it sounds kind of weird, but I love social media. I think it's so fun. And I've built some really great friendships on there. And so when I am on social media and people are liking my stuff, I don't think about that sale first. I don't know why people do, because we're on social media to build relationships and build kind of like a resume of our life. And you want to get to the point where your business, where people start coming to you and be like, what do you do? You know, your life looks great. Like you want to get to that point. So just building and trusting and just loving on people every single day does that kind of without even thinking about it. I hope that helped.
Yeah, I think that was great. I think I do a lot of the same with loving on people on profiles versus like long drawn out conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I think we've had this conversation, guys. I do think it depends on what you're comfortable with, right? Like don't go send the exact wording of the invite that Mandie just said. If that sounds nothing like you, like that's super weird. And people are going to be like, what the heck? Right. And this is why you need to figure out what works for you. I know Jeanette on our team shared on a previous team call that she'd been doing cold invites, not really having like great luck. She started talking to people more and she's had great success there. For me, that like talking feels really forced and like weird, awkward small talk. And so I think the people on the other side can feel that. Whereas like Jeanette's like killing it and like, because she doesn't feel awkward about it, right? So she's able to form those genuine relationships. And so it really does need to come down to what is your style? How can you genuinely connect with people on social media? So yeah. All right, guys, it is 8:40. So we're going to let Mandie go, but this was amazing. Thank you so much. Guys, go back, listen to this again. I wrote down all 10 points and just start thinking about them. Because a lot of them, sit down. What is your why? I know we talk about that, but if you're not hustling every day, then your why is probably not big enough, right? Like Mandie knew her why, right? But she wasn't hustling. And so she really had to go back and dig into that. And, what do you love about the business? Like sit down and really think through these things and then apply them, because they're very simple, but it's very easy not to apply them. And the little things are the things that change your business, because this entire business is that simple. This entire business is that simple. So, all right, guys, thank you so much, Mandie. This was amazing.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.